Every week, a new band. Brought to you by NZ On Air. Active Life! Yeah.
Kia ora koutou katoa, kei te whakaronga mai koe ki te Radio Active FM and today's Active Live session made with support from New Zealand On Air. I'm Amelia and we are joined live in studio by Vera Ellen. Kia ora.
Kia ora, what's up? I was going to say good morning. No.
It's well and truly afternoon now.
It's the morning somewhere.
Somewhere, yep, that's true.
Somewhere up there.
Very
in-
exciting to have
way
you
out
in today.
yonder. Thank you.
Plus, a couple band members. Would you like to introduce the room?
Yes, we got Ben Lemmy on bass and BVs. We got Sammy Austin on drums and a bit of probably yelling every now and then too.
Thanks for coming in. Last time you were here for an Active Live, you just released your album, Ideal Home Noise.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was what, like 5 months ago now?
Yeah.
Um,
Time flies when you're having fun.
Literally. How's that been the past 5 months? How has your relationship with the album developed since we talked last?
Good question. I haven't listened to it too much. I mean, it's been really interesting because a lot of my band has been kind of away, so I've been doing a lot of solo shows. So I'm really looking forward to connecting back with the band and playing with the full band again. Even this is nice having my boys with me.
And a lot has happened since you were last in. I know it was a while back, but how was that tour?
Ideal Home Noise tour?
Yeah.
It was so much fun. Yeah, I get sad about it sometimes because I miss it. But there'll be more.
Yeah. Any highlights from that?
Oh, we had a few good like singing in the van, sing-alongs for sure. Yeah, we had some Led Zeppelin moments. It's great.
Littleton Coffee Co. That was a cool gig.
That was no, that was definitely the highlight gig. No offense everywhere else. Yeah.
For very nerdy reasons, we enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I
There
love
was like very long, fairy conversations regarding the tech of that show.
We kind of lucked in. We had Marlon Williams, front of house engineer, jump on and help us out. So that was a real treat.
Yeah.
Oh, wow,
shout-outs to you,
yeah.
Tom.
Just name dropping out here. Sorry about that.
Very cool. And you've been up to licorice all sorts of stuff since releasing that album, including your residency as part of the New Zealand Pacific Studio singer-songwriter.
Yep.
Up in the Wairarapa. Tell me more.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. Yeah, I just basically spent 2 weeks on a farm writing music, so it was literally a dream. I went a little bit crazy, but it was so fun and wrote a lot of material and yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, did you know anyone up there, or was it really just sort of a solo adventure?
It was a solo adventure. I mean, I became mates with all the sort of board members, and they'd drop me around like cooking and like little cakes and things because people in Greytown are just like really nice. It's real crazy. Yeah, just like the hospitality there is kind of quite. It took me back, but it was beautiful, and I got to play a show there, and I got to play some of my new material and try it out on an audience. So that was like a very interesting experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. Creating music in isolation like that would have been pretty unique, I guess. Yeah. How did it compare to creating at other times in other places before?
It made me realize that that is the best way to create,
cool,
and I kind of am surprised I've ever done it any other way. So.
Yeah. And what did that creation process look like? Did you find any sort of new or different approaches that you'd never tried before?
For some reason, I was like squatting on the ground with like my hand like under my leg and then around the guitar. Because I had all my equipment on the floor, and it just became this real weird like situation where for some reason I was like playing the guitar like through my leg. So that was weird. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Drawing a blank.
A great way to open yourself to new music.
Yeah.
If
anyone would have seen the image of like how it all went down, it would be rather embarrassing. But it's okay because I've just exposed myself live on air.
So you don't want to play the next song, hunched on the floor?
Not today, people. It's not that kind of show.
You didn't bring a twister mat in with you?
I'll be more prepared next time. So that song was called Yuppie Farm. This next song is called Imposter.
I'm an imposter, floating through my fingers, you know I could have lost you. Can't you tell by the way that I lost you? You're a beautiful being and I'm an imposter. It isn't easy being like this, but I have to get something off my chest. This isn't mine and this isn't my best, not at all. It isn't easy being like this, but I have to get something off my chest. This isn't mine and this isn't my best, not at all. At the scoreboard sitting on my dinner, these people around me I've never met. What is mine if I never was? I want to give you something, but I'm an imposter. Floating through my fingers, you know I could have lost you. Can't you tell by the way that I lost you? You're a beautiful being and I'm an imposter. It isn't easy being like this, but I have to get something off of my chest. This isn't mine and this isn't my best, not at all. It isn't easy being like this, but I have to get something off of my chest. This isn't mine and this isn't my best, not at all. It isn't easy being like this, now love. At the scoreboard sitting on a dinner, these people around me I've never met. What is mine if I never was? I want to give you something, at the scoreboard sitting on my dinner, these people around me I've never met. What is mine if I never was? I want to give you something.
No Mai Hoki Mai Kita Active Live with Vera Ellen and part of the band. That's such a fun song. It looked like a lot of fun to play as well.
Yeah, it's super fun. It's really fun when we have the whole band as well, because we sort of got like, it's got a lot of BV sort of vocal layers, and yeah, it's definitely, yeah, it's fun.
In other fun news, you've got a big event coming up.
Yes.
On the 22nd of September, the
Yes.
Fake Milk Fest.
That's right.
It's it's such an epic sounding night. Where did this plan idea come from?
So it came from the fact that we're going to Australia to play some shows, and we don't have money. So we thought, you know what? Let's do what we do best. Let's put on a show. And then it kind of grew from there into sort of like a mini fest. So we were like, oh, we should have DJs, and let's make it a whole event. Let's make it not just kind of bands playing, but kind of, yeah, a fun evening.
Yeah, it's a stacked lineup.
Yeah.
Tell us more about the plans for the night. How'd you get everyone lined up?
So we got Hemingway is opening, doing a solo set, and maybe someone's joining him for a song.
Whisper, 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 whisper.
Rumor has it. Might be a cover. Who knows? Who knows? Sounds like a reason to come early. Mirror Ritual is playing afterwards, which will be amazing. And then my full band, which will be our 6-piece, which we have not played together since Ideal Home Noise, as Audrey has been gallivanting in Europe. She says with such disdain. No, I'm just kidding. And then followed by an Alley Cats after party with Ludus and Current Bias DJ sets. My mum's going to be cooking pierogi and other Polish food, I believe. We're going to have some exclusive merch, which will be really cool, and only one night only. This is so funny.
No, not to miss.
We've got the incredible Lady Laserlight doing visuals for the event.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be a night to remember.
Tell me more about this home cooked pierogi,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah, so I'm half Polish, and my mum grew up. My mum learnt from her mum how to make pierogi, which is essentially like potato cheese, sort of like dumpling-esque, fried up kind of like.
Tasty.
It's so tasty, and it's really good, especially if you're drinking alcohol. You know, you got to make sure that you eat.
Line that stomach.
But yeah, they're super tasty. Yeah,
Exciting.
so that's a treat. That's a treat.
And what's the plan for Australia? Have you got a big tour set up yet? Is that all hush hush? Or
It's not really hush hush. It's just, so we're playing South by, and we're going to play some shows in Melbourne.
awesome.
And more on that will be announced soon.
Well, we're pretty excited. It's the first time that the band's been offshore. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
really
huge.
exciting. Yeah. And it was so touch and go. It's been really touch and go this whole time. So I'm so happy that I'm happy that we get to fundraise in a way that's kind of like celebratory and enjoyable, and not just kind of a stressful time. I think everyone will get something out of it, which is cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What is there something that you think listeners like need to know before this legendary night?
Buy tickets from Moshtics early. Yeah. I don't know, Ben.
also Vera's been going really hard with the merch. So
I have.
don't sleep on the merch
Don't sleep
unless
on
it's
it.
really comfortable.
You can buy, if you want to support ahead of the tour. Oh, God, am I going to give myself more manual labor? You can buy, I've got like homemade necklaces that I've been making. So you can order those through my Instagram. So that's a way you can support.
Those are super fun. Where did the idea for that come from? The sort of DIY your own merch?
I just wanted to hand make stuff because I feel like then it puts some love into it. And and I also like the idea that I can just kind of like, I like doing things with my hands. I like making zines and stuff. So I was like, oh, jewelry.
Yeah, jewelry's super fun.
Yeah.
Was it kind of like, was there an approach that was economical or environmental? Or is it really just for funsies?
Yeah, for funsies. I'd
Love to
love
hear
to come
it.
through with some like amazing spiel about like there's some deep philosophical reasonings for making children's jewelry, but no, it's just for the love of it, really.
Yeah, and must come to Milkfest on Friday the 22nd of September to get them and much more.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Fake Milkfest people at Meow. Meow, meow, meow.
Can't wait.
Cool. Cool. Are we playing a song now, or
If you'd like.
is that what's happening? Okay, sweet. It's cool. So this next song is called You, and it's an oldie, but we were just like, let's play that. It's fun.
Your religions are machine, foreign lover, avoiding cream. You're suburban, I'm Iran. We'll never be ashamed of that. I swallow, I never spit. I follow, I never quit. You never ask for it. You never ask for it. You tell me what I feel inside of you. You tell me what I feel inside of you. You tell me what I feel inside of you. You tell me what I feel inside of you. Tell me what I feel inside of you. Tell me what I feel inside of you. I only wanted you. Tell me what I feel inside of you. You. nothing. I'm a rat, will never be ashamed of that. You're religious, a machine. Foreign lover, avoiding creep. You told me what a suicide, oh yeah. You told me what a suicide, oh yeah. You told me what a suicide, oh yeah. You told me what it might have, I only wanted you. I only wanted you. I only wanted you.
You told me what a suicide, oh yeah.
Everyone loves you 'cause you're
Everyone loves you 'cause you're.
but I just love it when
I just love it when
you're a runner and I'm another
unfit.
But when we go down, we go under together. You tell me what a suicide, oh yeah. 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 Wanted you.
What a throwback.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I Hockey Mikey to Active Live with Vera Ellen. That was you.
You.
Ah, I love that song. It's been so long since I've had it.
I know, same. Except for like 10 minutes ago when we read through it.
Oh, true. So that's a really fun song, but some of your other music is a lot more emotional and quite
Definitely.
sensitive. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
balance in a lot of stuff. But that's obviously been a big part of this album you released earlier this year,
Yeah.
and something that you've been talking about a lot on social media and other platforms and things, including that Flying Nun interview series you did a couple months back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell me more about that and how that came about.
The interview series?
Yeah.
It actually came about from the Ideal Home Noise tour because I did a show that kind of made me spiral and wig out a bit. And I kind of had thought about it as this like linear thing where you get to a certain point of playing so much that you stop, I guess, having those freakouts after the show or before the show. And then I think doing that made me realize, oh, it's not a linear journey. It's sort of like you go up and down and there's different, there's no kind of like one way to escape that necessarily. So I was interested to talk to other musicians about their experiences of how they handle a quote-unquote bad show. Honestly, it was kind of like selfish to begin with because I just was interested in hearing for my own sake. And then I was kind of like, I actually think that this might be a conversation that a few people could benefit from. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. They're super beautiful to read. Talking with other artists on these sorts of topics, was it validating or were there sort of surprises that you found with different people in different situations?
It was extremely validating because I think when you do things like that, you think it's just you. And then I think it was just like a nice reminder of like, oh yeah, like we're all going through this and struggling in our own way. And we all love it as well, which is why we keep doing it. But it's also okay to have difficult times and have those chats and be honest about it. So I was really surprised, and that's kind of why I wanted to kind of share with people as well.
Yeah. In the first edition, you talk about a relationship with shame and creation and performing and stuff.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, like you thought something you wouldn't be struggling with anymore, but still are. Have you found some sort of ways to ground yourself when you're at the top of the cycle where it's hard to find your way?
I think a really big one that I learned from Mr. Ben Lemmy over here was just about kind of like connecting, or like, I mean, especially if you're in a band situation, it's not as easy if you're solo, but just connecting with the people around you and reaching out, which actually doesn't have to be like, let's have a talk about my feelings, but it can just be hanging out around somebody else or giving someone a little hug or seeing how their experience was of the show. And Ben was kind of talking about how something that makes him feel better is like thinking about a moment on stage that he saw another band member do that he thought was really cool and kind of like taking it, not making it about yourself and kind of, Anything to add on
Sounds
that?
about right.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it was something like, if you've had a show, a performance where you felt like, it's a bit of a tough one, then you can try and focus on some of the amazing things that you saw happen around you, which,
Yeah.
yeah,
Always
on
a
stage or off
golden
stage.
lining.
Yeah,
Totally. Yeah.
Nice.
It's a
Yeah.
and also
journey.
get lots of sleep.
Yeah.
And eat.
Great point. What are some other things you guys are doing to take care of your haora and nurture your mental health when performing and creating at the moment?
I feel like a bit of a hypocrite because I actually feel like I've been quite not very good at this, including today and before this performance, if I'm being completely honest. So I think this is a good reminder that I need to check back in with that stuff. Yeah, I'm just going to be honest and say that I haven't been doing good with that. But I think in the past, things that have been really helpful have been meditation and yoga and connecting with my body and being around beautiful, loving people.
Honestly, so refreshing to hear that though, because seeing someone out there doing all these things, people will expect that they've just got it all together.
Oh my God, no.
And yeah, it's not, you don't have to have it all together all the time to still be having fun, I suppose.
Exactly. Sometimes you just have to do the thing, and then it always ends up being not as bad as you think. There's always something enjoyable. Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. And speaking of more sort of the recorded side of things, having this body of work out there for a number of months now, have you had sort of reactions from people that you weren't expecting, or sort of some really beautiful experiences of having shared this thing that made it quite validating and not so scary anymore? I don't know.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've had a lot of really honest conversations with people, which has just been really beautiful and nice. And I'm happy that people feel comfortable to share that with me, and maybe wouldn't have if I didn't sing about those specific things. So, I think it's always just beautiful to receive any kind of feedback from people around your art, because that's just a privilege to be able to share with people. So, I mean, I'm pretty open to all types of feedback, unless it's just bully material. I'm not about that.
That's beautiful, yeah. I mean, for me, I always ask my friends and flatmates for a hug, and when someone comes up to me and is like, "Can I have a hug?" I'm like, "Yes!"
Yeah, I love hugs. I love hugs.
It's a great feeling.
Yeah.
And so my final question for you today, which we discussed beforehand very briefly, is for our sort of Ask It Forward segment, where we get you to ask a question for next week's Active Live, and then I'll ask last week's question of you as well.
Yeah.
So you don't have to answer your questions, you can make it as hard as you want.
Okay, great.
So yeah, is there something that you've never been asked in an interview or would like to know about other artists out there?
So we thought a good question would be, how do you feel about playing for exposure? Just that's it, open-ended.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, because quite often playing for exposure also means not receiving any fee.
Yeah.
So you've
Just to
gotta
be clear.
make that compromise and decide whether it's worth it. But yeah.
Unless you're like me and you get to pay to play at a near the Dr. Phil studios in Hollywood, which cost me, I feel like it cost me like $50 in an Uber to get there. And then when I walked out, the guy was like, $60? And I was like, I thought he was going to pay me $60, but I had to pay him $60.
Ah!
It was so upsetting.
That's a real bite on the first
Yeah,
kind of.
it was such just a terrible end to the night. I was like, oh, the ego death though.
Awesome place to play though. And last week we had in Milktooth who wanted to know about your sort of first musical inspiration or artist that struck you and really inspired you to get out there and get creating.
Oh my God, okay. Okay, do I do my embarrassing one or my like a little bit older, more genuine one? Okay, we got one vote for embarrassing. Okay, I'm going to expose myself. Hilary Duff.
Oh, love
I
to
was
hear
the
it.
biggest Lizzie McGuire fan, and I remember I had the Hilary Duff CDs, and I remember like I was in a band with my cousin, and I was like trying to convince my cousin that Hilary Duff was rock, And he was like real rock, and he was like, nah, like she's not even like real music. And I was like, no, like listen to this album, like listen to the distorted guitars, like yeah. Nah, she was my hero. I had like Hilary Duff, like Total Girl Mag covers, like plastering, all over the walls and everything like that. Yeah.
Amazing.
So absolute hero. Yeah.
What a fun note to end on. Would you like to play your last song for us this afternoon?
Gonna end on a sad note for you guys. Play Broadway Junction. I was gonna say Broadway Junction by Vera Ellen. Just an out of body moment there.
New York in fall. You'd think I had it all looking at you. Behind the faces, you're standing tall. I'm hunching my back forward 'cause I got ill from hiding places. Everything I touch turns to shit. That's just it, I'm not the good person you think. Yeah, I'm older now, that's just how. I'm done blaming you for everything. I wanted to jump at Broadway Junction, feel the tracks against my back. Wanted to know how precious life was. Must have forgot about that. Oh, what if I jumped at Broadway Junction? How long till you get the call? How long till people keep walking and forget about it all? I've seen it all. I humbly decline an invitation to party chasing the subway crawl. Back to my motel, living ego, still deflating. Everything I start, I just quit. That's just it, I'm not the hard worker you say. Yeah, I need it now, even now. I'm done blaming you for everything. I wanted to jump at Broadway Junction, feel the tracks against my back. Wanted to know how precious life was. Must have forgot about that. Oh, what if I jumped at Broadway Junction? How long till you get the call? How long till people keep walking and forget about it all? I didn't jump at Broadway Junction. Saw your name ringing my phone. Said I'm a dead man walking. You said it's time for me to come home.
Kia ora, Vera Ellen, for coming into studio and making the whole station cry with that last track. This has been another active live session made with New Zealand On Air. Make sure to grab tickets for the Fake Milk Fest, Friday, September 22nd. It is not one to miss. Apana Miria, ka kite.
Active Live. Friday, 3:30. Every week a new band. In studio. Brought to you by NZ On Air.